up for us? Because Liverpool-Arsenal clashes, the last 5 have given us 4 draws. They've been highly competitive. I think the only one produced a winner.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, because the good news for Arsenal fans is they're unbeaten in the last 6 at Anfield. The bad news is that they haven't won at Anfield for 13 years. But on top of all of that, they go there in their best shape they've been in for a long time. Defensively, the best defence in the Premier League last season. I think not a lot of attention has been paid to the fact that Arsenal have invested in Zubimendi, who's an outstanding defensive midfielder, and Mosquera as well, the Spanish international centre-back. That kind of signing gives them the platform to allow the front 6 to go and do what they do best. And that's the reason why I give Arsenal a really good chance this weekend.
Well, let's talk about Liverpool, because naturally defending champions, and they've started really well, come through a very difficult game on Monday night with all the drama off-field as well, the Alexander Isak battle, and won 3-2. Rio Ngamoa, at such a young age, scoring such a big goal.
It's always important when you're a young player and you come into a game like that, you want to try and have an impact. What was amazing for me is the composure he took to put that in the back of the net, because it comes off a dummy. So that means he's got good chemistry with his players already. And the technique on the finish to just wrap it into the side netting without taking a touch, it just shows you how confident the young lad is.
I asked you before the show, when you made your debut, you were saying you were 17. You're in that moment, you've got the opportunity not just to score a goal, but the winning goal in a massive match. You will know what's going through his mind, won't you?
Yeah, you're just thinking, especially at a young age, work the keeper, hit the target, just try to make good connection. And he hit the ball exactly where he wanted it to go. And that isn't an easy chance. We've seen loads of regular, everyday professionals miss chances like that, and some even closer. But he knew exactly what he was doing. He anticipated that his player was going to dummy that ball as well. He knew with all his confidence how he was going to take that technically. And you can just see it. It's almost like he relaxed. We used to always say Núñez never takes his time, he never breathes. It's almost like as that ball was coming, he just went, took a deep breath and just stroked it, just looked for pure connection.
Yeah. One of the other positive points for Liverpool in that game was obviously Ekitike. I mean, he has hit the ground running in this league.
I think I like him as a player because the first thing I've got to say is that I was very surprised when Liverpool signed him, because it looked very much as though he was going to go to Newcastle as the replacement for Alexander Isak. And I thought it was all going to be very straightforward. And then Liverpool said, no, we're signing your replacement and we want Alexander Isak, which actually made me laugh. But the composure he shows here in the first 2 games says to me that he is going to be an upgrade on Darwin Núñez. If you think about the numbers of goals that Liverpool scored last season and the number of chances that Núñez missed, if they are converted like that by him, Liverpool are going to be formidable this season.
It's just crazy. Like, it's almost like they've carried on where they left off last season in terms of clinicalness in front of goal. They don't need that many chances or half chances to make them count. And I think in that Newcastle game, in many ways, it kind of showed that. There wasn't like loads and loads of chances on target, but the ones that they had, they truly tried to make count. And for me, the more I look at it and see everything, I don't now sitting here understand why they want to buy Isak. Really? I think, no, because they're too much of the same player, Darren. Like, normally, if you're a team, you have 2 strikers, yes, yeah. I get that. But one's a little bit different to the other.
Yes.
But when I watch these 2 strikers, to me, they play so similar in terms of the way they move around the defences, the way they can come short, link up, they can go behind, they can both dribble. They're both what? He's about 6'2" as well?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with all of that, and it's kind of hard to sit here and debate with a guy who played with Didier Drogba. But I'm just, allow me, if you're watching around the world, allow me for a second. I just think as far as they're concerned, if you think about, I want to cast your mind back to 1999 at Manchester United. They won the league with their Dwight York, 20-goal-a-season man, Andy Cole, 20-goal-a-season man, Teddy Sheringham and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, both of whom were decisive in the Champions League final. And I think if you are going to win silverware, you have to have a pool of strikers. You can have one man, but if that one man is out, you're done. I think if you have two guys who can do a fabulous job, what you're doing is maintaining a standard.
But I'm not saying don't sign a striker. I'm saying they don't need to be exactly the same.
I agree.
Because there's no real difference.
I just think Isak is the kind of striker you sign at any cost. Any cost. We saw that last season. He's decisive, he can score. He's a Thierry Henry type player. And I think
Ekitike is doing the same
That's
thing
what
right
everyone's
now.
saying about him. Yeah, he's
Ekitike
giving
is
Henry.
doing the same thing.
Yeah. They're coming for everything, Liverpool. Let's hear what Arne Slot and Mo Salah have to say about Hugo Ekitike.
The most simple answer to what he can improve is his match fitness. So I expect him to do even a lot more without the ball than he already does, because he's already working hard. But there we can improve, which is completely normal, because he has to adjust from a different league, from a different playing style. So Frankfurt wasn't as pressing as much as they pressed, but not as much as we tried to do. And then coming to a different country, coming to a different league, there's a lot for him to handle.
With Diogo or like Darwin and Lucho, I know where to find them, I know their game very well, but with Hugo he's still new, so sometimes he needs the ball in the field, sometimes he needs it in the space. We try to figure that out through the training or like the videos the manager shows us. So, but I will figure it out soon, because also it's going to help my game to grow as well.
I think if there is any criticism of Liverpool in the opening two games, it's the goals that they've conceded.
I think Konate's been a little bit wobbly. Gyökeres hasn't hit the ground as well as people thought he would. But I think the massive key is Gravenberch and McAllister missing from in front of them. I think because of the fullbacks' goal, the centre-backs are pretty much left open with only one of them playing
I'm
at the
so glad
same
you
time.
said that, because lots of people feel that the solution is a Mark Gahey, for example, another centre-half, but it's the protection for the back four that they're lacking.
It helps them with their decisions, when to go, when to drop off. If they go past him, they can read that, so they can tackle that. So, but when it's not there, you're just running backwards, and as you can see in some games, they're just like swarms of players running at you, and it's hard to decide which one. Like, that goal is a bit different, but this one here with Semenya running through, look, there's four of them and two defenders. Liverpool, you can't defend that. It doesn't matter how good you are. Konate, Virgil, you can't stop that.
So uncharacteristic of them as well. And a lot of those on the break. This one here from a set piece. What does that say about what's coming up on Sunday?
Well, it says that Arsenal can go into the match really confident. You have to go back to 1925 for the last time they won their first three without conceding. But they do know where the goal is. And I think having Gyökeres means that Liverpool have got a different problem to the one they normally have each season when they play Arsenal. He's a threat, he's got movement, he's got physicality. You can probably speak far better than I can to why that will be an asset for them. But what he does also provide for them is a target in the 6-yard box.
And the hair flicks. Don't forget the hair.
I can't talk about that.
Sorry, I didn't mean it. I really loved that, because there was this narrative building around Viktor Gyökeres, just hearing other fans saying, well, he's not as good, and he had more touches of his hair against Man United than he did on the actual ball. How important was it for him to score those goals then? And also, how difficult is it for Arsenal to play with an actual number 9 to adapt to that?
Well, they're still, listen, it's going to take them time to learn how to play with him. It's going to take him time to learn how to play with them. The number of touches on the ball does not bother me in the slightest. We saw when Haaland arrived at Manchester City, there were games when he had single-figure touches on the ball and scored 2 or 3 goals. I think as long as those touches for him are decisive, nothing will matter.
Do you know who I think will benefit him? Eze.
Yeah.
Because he's been used to playing with that target number 9, Mateta. And he plays those bounce passes, the 1-2s, and he plays them in. Gyökeres loves to run into space. Eze will create space for him and find those passes.
You've been a winger, so you know. What is it you're looking for in terms of the movement? Are they making your mind up for you, or are you trying to get them onto a tasty ball into the 6-yard box, 18-yard box?
A lot of wingers are different now, though, Darren. They want to take too many touches, or they want to do a step over. Sometimes you can get the ball out your feet and put that ball in that dangerous area, and the strikers will go. People like Gyökeres, Sesko, Holland, they will go. It's when you take too many touches, can kind of mess up their run, and then you see they're not in the box, they're not trying to go forward. It's because they don't know when the ball's coming. But if they know you're going to put that ball in, they go.
So the anticipation, you eventually develop that.
Didier just said to me, Sean, I know you do it anyway, but I just want to remind you, get the ball at your feet, put it in. Even if it's a bad ball, it'll make it a good one.
Listen, I know Mikel Arteta was pretty evasive today in his press conference. He didn't want to say too much because he's got Odegaard out injured. And, you know, they asked him, so Eze goes straight into 10, and he didn't want to say, but he probably does, right? He goes straight into the starting lineup at Anfield. And then what does that say to you about Arsenal's strength and depth now?
Is getting to the place where they've been wanting it to be. I think because normally people leave and they don't replace them, whereas now people are leaving, they're replacing and still building on top of that. And to bring in a player like Eze on top of what they've already brought in, like that's telling you they're in the run for this title. And it's going to take a lot to knock them off the perch. Because as Darren said, for me, over the last 2 or 3 years, they've probably had the best defence in the Premier League. And for whatever reason, they just can't win the Premier League. So this year, they've got the tools to do it. It's just whether they're all put together rightly.
OK, so ahead of the game, Mikel Arteta has been talking about the injury concerns and the depth of his squad.
I think in the previous season we had the best record in the Premier League. The following season we had one of the worst as well, because the extent, not the amount, but the extent of the injuries of certain players, especially Tomiyasu, Gabi Jesus, the long-term injuries we have with the hamstring injuries. So yeah, we have looked at everything. We are continually monitoring and evolving the needs of the players and the schedule. But unfortunately, we pick very diverse injuries again.
Yeah, those injuries, Bukayo Saka gone out, hamstring injury, Odegaard out as well, first home game of the season, shoulder injury. And Kai Havertz, you got to explain this to me, because Kai Havertz has a knee injury, he's had surgery, and they're saying it's not serious.
Yeah, there's many ways to look at it. You can do little things to your knee. Some of them you just don't need an operation, you just need rest. But the one that I did have, which was my first proper ever injury, was I had my meniscus was starting to fray away. So they just go in and they kind of clean it up, make it all neat and tidy again. And it's normally like 2 pinholes and they just do it by camera. So I was, just over a month and I was back playing again. So if you're talking about operation, that's the only thing I can think of to a not serious knee injury.
OK, because when I heard that, I was like, this is dark arts. What are they doing here now? What are they doing? OK, let's move on, because while that